Welcome to today's Research Business Daily Report, where we've got a salute to Ipsos Loyalty's Timothy Keiningham for an award that's been bestowed on him for an important new paper. Then there's the merger between trade associations that they say will help boost many different avenues, including retail research. And our conversation with the esteemed John Zogby. RBDR is sponsored today and this week by Focus Vision, your single source solution for quantitative and qualitative research, including its latest edition, Research Reporter. Ipsos Loyalty Global Chief Strategy Officer and Executive Vice President Timothy Keiningham has won the Journal of Service Management's 2014 Robert Johnston Outstanding Paper of the Year Award. That winning edition, it's called A Longitudinal Examination of Customer Commitment and Loyalty, is the first longitudinal examination of the relationship between affective, calculative, normative commitment and customer loyalty, and is done with the assistance of longitudinal panel survey data. The paper was co-written by four others: Ghent University Assistant Professor Bart Lariviere, Vanderbilt University Professor Bruce Kuil, Fordham University Professor Lurzan Aksoy, and Northwestern University Professor Edward Malthouse. Moving on, two retail bodies, POPAI, the Point of Purchase Advertising Institute, and A.R.E, the Association for Retail Environments, are going to merge, and they say it will provide better service for its members, including retail research. POPAI membership consists of retailers, CPGs, brand agencies, producers, and educators, and it is committed to shopper marketing research. By the way, it has produced research results that have literally changed my career and its trajectory. A.R.E represents companies in the retail environments industry. The two associations paired together make for an interesting situation, and hopefully they will lead to better results. Finally, in the polling world, few personalities are as formidable and respected as is John Zogby, and few executives in the research arena anywhere are as in touch with its changing realities, both in and outside of polling, which is why we spoke with John recently. John, I'm surprised to hear from you that you think that there are major changes that have been going on in polling and in surveying, because most of the time when I talk to people of your prestige in the marketplace, it's like, well, really not all that much is changing.
Oh, the changes are huge, Bob. I mean, let's start, first of all, with the technology. I go back to the era of 1984 when people used to say, shh, I have a long-distance call. Somebody's asking me important questions. We've gone to the era of huge non-responses and to now 40% of our U.S. samples that must be done by cell phone. And cell phones are themselves problematic as a tool for research. They take up a lot of people's time. They're inconvenient and they don't suit themselves. They're not well suited, let's say, for 40 question, 60 question surveys.
And cell phones are more than there for the average person as more than just a telephone device.
Well, they are. I mean, so in addition to calling you, let's say, at a bad time, you may want to be checking on the nanny. You may want to be regulating your thermostat. This is the Internet of Things. You may very well want to be doing something else with your cell phone. And then as a factor, I don't know how big a factor, but we're taking away some of your minutes as well.
How is the veritable glut of data out there changing things?
Well, for us, for our company, what we've managed to do is rebrand ourselves as Zogby Analytics, with the full understanding that there's plenty of data there, but now with 4 decades of experience, 31 years, we've got the people that can tell you what it all means. We're the ones that can find the cloud formations, the patterns, the vectors and directions of change. And so we're making use out of the fact that there is arguably too much data out there.
Can you do it with the timeliness that the client demands, given all the data that is out there that you have to kind of pick and choose your top lines from?
Well, you do have to pick and choose. That comes from a lot of experience. You've got to get right to the point and select what data you're going to use, what new data you need to generate. But very importantly, the old days of, the 3 month or 6 month turnaround on a project, the 3 weeks in the field, whether it's on the telephones or face to face, has given way to the Thursday afternoon call. Can you get me data by Tuesday morning? I've got a meeting at noon.
Is polling going to be as important part of your business as, your reputation was built on that, John?
Yeah, polling is very important because you still need to tap into the consumer and you still need to get a good representation of the consumer. So, look, there's a lot of use, a tremendous amount of use for scanned data and for all other sorts of data that can be collected from people as customers. I'm a big fan of social media as well. But when push comes to shove, there are times when you need a random sampling representation of the public or a segment. And we may be doing the polling in different ways, but it's still polling.
Mm-hmm. Probability sampling. Everybody probably still believes in it, but probably not everybody knows or feels that they can have access to it. What's your point of view?
It's like all of the world's great religions. There are the goals and what we aspire to, but the impossibility of the ideal type. The era of pure random probability sampling is over. Not only because it's difficult, we're limited in the selection models that we have and the technology that's available, but so many people opt themselves out of survey taking. That's a whole.
As somebody who built his business around that, does it leave you with any sense of queasiness?
Oh, sure. Look, once you get elections to the 10th% and to the percent, then you want every single one to be like that. But we still do and have the potential to do very accurate work, but there are increased opportunities to have that 5% clunkers out of a 95% confidence interval.
Okay, let me throw something out of left field at you. We haven't talked about this, and that is the work that Microsoft is doing vis-a-vis surveying, polling, such. I guess the best way that I can describe it is focused on people who have a vested interest in the outcome. What's your attitude about that?
Well, we've done that work too. The shareholder, the stakeholder kinds of surveys. There are multiple levels, based on intensity, level of interest, level of participation, but it's all valuable. You need to understand what your universe is. And the cautionary note is, always represent who your universe is. Don't say it's all Americans or general consumers if it's a limited segment, but limited segments are very valuable as well.
So that sounds as if it is pretty adaptable to a presidential election polling situation.
Well, it could be. Look, ultimately, number one, we want to be right. And number two, we want to serve our clients with the best possible information. Those rules remain unchanged.
That's your Research Business Daily Report. We've been sponsored by Focus Vision, your single source solution for quantitative and qualitative research. And we make note of its latest edition, the recently acquired Research Reporter. Research teams are under the gun to generate more insight, to do it faster, and to get it all done with fewer resources. Well, that changing and perhaps sterner accountability translates to additional administrative time, which also means less time generating and sharing insights, and that is not a preferable situation. Which is why Focus Vision Research Reporter may be a difference maker. It helps reduce project administration time while simultaneously boosting higher quality project output. We've created a link to spell things out and where you can also learn much more about how Research Reporter can assist you. It's in our subscriber email and also in the description box underneath today's RBDR. We hope you have a great research day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.